Hello everybody, this is Jack from Sens Alert, and we have a Sens Alert. Hello everybody, welcome to the Sens Alert. I'm your host Jack, and I'm here coming on the air with a Sens Alert. And earlier today, the Senators finally found their head coach. It is Travis Green, formerly of the Vancouver Canucks and the New Jersey Devils, who will be taking over for DJ Smith and interim coach Jacques Martin. Green will become the 14th head coach in Senators franchise history. So, obviously earlier he was announced to be head coach. It obviously isn't confirmed, but there's supposed to be a press conference as early as Wednesday, because obviously the draft lottery is tomorrow, and we'll see what happens with that. The Senators most likely are picking 7th overall in that, but I just want to go with a little rundown with Travis Green's staff history. On April 25th, 2017, he was hired by the Vancouver Canucks to be their head coach. He was previously the head coach of the Utica Comets, which was their AHL affiliate at the time. He had a pretty good career there. Brought him to the Calder Cup Finals in 2015, and he served from the 2017-18 season until his firing on December 5th, 2021. So that was almost 5 seasons there, and he only brought him to the playoffs only once, and that was a 2019-20 season, which was delayed by COVID. At the time, they finished 4th in the Pacific Division, 1 point shy of Calgary, with a game in hand on them for 3rd in the division. So they were behind Calgary, Edmonton, and Vegas. So ever since then, he doesn't get a job anywhere else until June 22nd, 2023, which he becomes the associate coach of the New Jersey Devils. And he took over for Andrew Brunette, who's obviously in Nashville as their head coach. And he served until March 4th, 2024, which is when he took over as interim head coach when Lindy Ruff got fired. So he is right now still listed as interim head coach for the New Jersey Devils, probably until Wednesday, when he most likely will officially be announced as head coach of the Ottawa Senators. And his head coaching record over his career, he coached 335 games. His record is 141, 159, and 35. So his percentage for points is .473, which is not much better than DJ Smith's .464. So I'm not really intrigued by this hire, but I did a little bit of research before I made this video, and honestly, I don't think it's as bad as people are proclaiming it is, even though you had candidates like Craig Berube, who's probably going to be the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs if Sheldon Keefe gets fired, which was pretty much a given. I think a lot of us expected that to happen. Todd McClellan was also a candidate, but to be honest with you, I wasn't really intrigued by him as much, because I just feel like he's been recycled way too many times ever since becoming the head coach of the Sharks in 2008. He got fired by them in 2015, and then he went to Edmonton with the early years of McDavid, then went to LA, and he got fired last February after their horrific losing streak. So I feel like he's been recycled too much, and the results really haven't been there as much. So I wasn't really intrigued by McClellan. And then the other guy was Dean Evason. I mean, he was in Minnesota for the last few years. He took over for Bruce Boudreau as an interim coach. He took over as head coach, and he got fired last November after a poor start to the year. And those guys are still out there, but there's still many different head coaching availabilities out there, like New Jersey, maybe Toronto. I look at Winnipeg now that Rick Bowen is retired. I look at Seattle, Dan Valsma might take over there. But regardless, there are a ton of head coaching vacancies around the league, and the cold truth, most of them were probably more attractive than Ottawa, and that's why you're seeing Travis Green as a head coach right now. So I personally wasn't excited about it, but I am willing to give the guy a shot. I do want to point this out too, because Steve Sayos and Michael Landauer are preaching all this best in class. I mean, I don't really see what they're seeing in that. I mean, Claude Julien, longtime Bruins and Canadiens coach, said he was interested in the job, and they didn't interview him or whatnot. And I do hope the condition was not like something with John Gruden being an assistant or associate coach, because that could very well be a possibility. And if that's the case, Travis Green might be willing to do that, and maybe that's why he got the job over guys like Berube, Evason, and McClellan. So I will give Travis Green, like I said, the benefit of the doubt. I do think if you want to look at his track record, the 21 games as interim head coach with the Devils, I don't think is good to give credit towards his track record. I do think the 5 years of Vancouver are more what we should be looking at, and he's only had one season over 500, and that was the year they made the playoffs in 2019-2020. I do want to say his general manager was Jim Benning at the time, so obviously that's not an easy place to work, especially under a horrific GM like Jim Benning. But at the same time, Pierre Dorian wasn't a great GM. I don't think he was as bad as Jim Benning, but still, you get the point. I will say, people are talking about how this is probably DJ Smith 2.0. I don't think so, because obviously it's been word on the street that DJ Smith's training camp was all country club, which we all know he's buddy-buddy with all the players. He's a players coach, obviously. Travis Green is not that. He is very hard-nosed, and he definitely seems like you got to work hard in training camp. Day one of training camp, especially if you want to go look at his highlights, especially in 2021, you had guys gassed after their practices, guys puking on the ice. It was insane. So if you want to bring that into perspective, Travis Green, he's going to make you work. There's going to be accountability, 100% effort at all times. So you can certainly appreciate that, but the results just weren't there, and I'm willing to give him a second shot, but it has to work because the Senators definitely needed to get this head coaching job right. And I'm not saying it's not going to work, but it's very risky because Travis Green obviously has had one legit head coaching tenure before this one, and it was with Vancouver, and then his 21 games with New Jersey, and here he is going to be the head coach of the Senators. We don't know exactly what the contract's going to look like, but I'll have another video coming out later in the week talking a little bit more about Travis Green and his presser, which is supposed to be sometime later in the week. But this is just my raw reaction and initial thoughts on the Travis Green hiring with the Ottawa Senators. Personally, I'm not a fan of it, but he could prove me wrong, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people on Twitter are proclaiming it is, but I still am not a fan of it, but he could turn it around, and we'll see if that happens. So if you're a Canucks or a Devils fan, comment down below what you think about Travis Green, and if you're a Senators fan, comment down below what you think about this hire. So I'm going to make some videos later in the week talking about Travis Green, maybe the draft lottery too, so look out for all that. But for now, this is Jack the Sens Alert, and this was the Sens Alert.